my name is Tori. This is Novel Life. Welcome back to my channel, and welcome to all things fall books. In today's video, I'm going to have some book recommendations for fall, as well as my personal fall TBR. So we are going into some of my all-time favorite months, and that means I get to give you guys some book recommendations for these seasons, as well as build my TBR. I have built a pretty good TBR, if I do say so myself. So part of this video will be book recommendations, and part of this video will be my TBR. I think I'm gonna start with my TBR first, because I am the most excited to talk about those books, as well as the recs I want to give you, but these are the books that I'm excited to read, so of course I'm excited to talk about them. So I have 8 on my TBR. Wanted to go big or go home, but I didn't want to put too many books on my TBR that I wasn't sure I was actually going to read. So you may question this TBR just a little bit when I dive into it, but that's okay. So the first book, Fairytale by Veronica Lancet. So I have tried to read this book, not once, but twice. And I have DNF'd this book twice, okay? Around the same percent. It's around 20%. And both times, everyone has said, once you get past that part, it gets really, really good. Do you see how big this book is? It's a weapon. This is a weapon. It's a little over 700 pages. Oh, it's just about 700 pages. The audiobook just came out, which I think is actually going to help me get through it. Now, this is the, I guess, indie paperback, I think that's what it is. The cover did change, so it looks slightly different, but I don't think the story itself changed that much. So I am very excited to read this. Now, from what I got at the beginning when I read the first 20% of this book, it was about our female character. She goes from Boston to Fairytale to attend her biological father's funeral that she didn't really know anything about. And apparently she's in the will or something like that. And then all of these random things start happening. She meets Caleb, who is part of the Hale family. But then she also meets Amon, who is a nobleman who lived 2 centuries ago. He's haunting her dreams. So I don't know if this is a love triangle. I don't know if it's like a polyamorous. I really don't know, but the vibes of this book are perfect for fall. It's gothic, it's dark, and that's what I liked. I liked the first 20%, but I wasn't solely invested to keep going. Like I said, I'm very intimidated by the size of this book. But I will say this. I DNF'd Guild by Raven Kennedy twice before I finally picked up that book again for the 3rd time this year, and I finished the whole Plated Prisoner series. So, with all that being said, just because I DNF'd a book in the past does not mean I won't like it. I'm very excited for this one. If you've read this, please let me know your thoughts. If you think I would like it, or if I should just pass on it and unhaul this book, please let me know, please. So the next book I have, the next couple of books that I have to talk about are more on the cozier side. If you guys know me, I'm not a cozy girl. I don't like cute and cozy. I have to be in a very, very, very specific kind of mood to read cute and cozy. So the next books I'm going to talk about are tentative, but I do want to mention them. So it's The Strawberry Patch Pancake House by Lori Gilmore. So this one and The Gingerbread Bakery are both on my fall TBR. So this one came out in the spring, March or April or something like that. And actually, Christy, when we were in Orlando together, Lori Gilmore was on tour. So she went to go see Lori Gilmore and she got this one signed for me. So that's really cute. Now, I think this is more spring, obviously summer, because it's the Strawberry Patch Pancake House, but apparently it's a single dad who moves to Dream Harbor and he has this nanny, and I guess he falls in love with the nanny, so I'm very excited for this one. Now, I am even more excited for The Gingerbread Bakery because this is more, I feel like, fall, because it's just coming out in September, but Christy from Christy Reads a Lot, she also read an arc of this book and she loved it. She said it's one of her favorite second chance romances, so I'm very excited because we both love second chance and I love a good second chance, so I'm very excited for that one. So those two I just want to briefly mention because they're definitely on my TBR, but I have loved and I really enjoyed a lot of Lori Gilmore's books in this Dream Harbor series, so I have high hopes. The next one is A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping by Sangu Mandana. I'm a little hesitant about this book, but I got this in my Aardvark book box, which I am a rep for them, so you can save $4 with your first box using my code. This video is not sponsored. I just wanted to mention that. But this one is, I guess, the sequel, but you can read them as standalones if I'm not mistaken. So I am a little nervous because I read, oh my gosh, what is that book? It is oh my gosh, it's not The Enchanted Greenhouse. It's the first book in that series. I read it last year and it wasn't for me. But also I read The Crescent Moon Tea Room. That's another cozy witchy book. And I didn't like that one. So I'm a little nervous for this one, but I want to try out this author because I've heard really good things about this. So I'm gonna see if I can grab the audiobook. There's a little fox and she has a book. Oh my god, he's holding like a little tea. Like, this just looks adorable and I love the pink. So I'm gonna give this a try. We'll see how I like it, but I have to be in the mood for like a cute, cozy book, if that makes sense. So when that mood strikes, those are the books I'm going to pick up. Now we're getting into more of the dark gothic books that I want to read, which is more my vibe, hence my shirt. It has a skull, like that's my, I mean, okay, to be fair, I love pink pumpkins, okay? But I do love a dark gothic, like academia, gothic, fantasy, any of that. So first book, Mistress of Lies by K.M. Enright. This one was also from my Aardvark book box. I think the most of the ones I'm going to talk about are from there because what they do is they have like historical times, but with like a dark gothic twist, if that makes sense. So this one is following Shan. She is a daughter of a powerful but disgraced blood worker, and she spent her entire life perfecting her blood magic. So Samuel apparently is a bastard with a terrible gift, and he's drawn into the world of dark magic, pulled deeply into the ravenous and bloodthirsty court of the Vampire King. So apparently there's vampires and gothic stuff, and I'm very, 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 very excited. So this one just seems super cool, super, just like, look at the cover. I don't know. We'll see if I like it, but it's a little bit long, but I have high hopes for this one. I also love to discover new authors. So Upon a Starlight Tide by Kel Woods is another one that I'm very excited to read. I feel like this is more historical, but a lot of authors I know have blurbed the back of this, but it is a dark, enchanting historical fantasy combining elements of The Little Mermaid and Cinderella into a wholly original tale of love, power, and betrayal. Lucinde is the youngest daughter, a wealthy French ship owner, and her sisters are interested in securing adventurous marriages, but she dreams, but loose dreams of escaping her elegant but stifling home and joining a ship's crew. So Samuel, her best friend, is an English smuggler, and I guess like they are on a ship together. I have no idea. This blurb is very long and I don't want to read all of it, but I'm very excited. I'm very excited. Now this is probably going to be more of like an October book, but I'm still, the vibes are vibing and we're going with it. This one I'm a little nervous about. It's Blood on Her Tongue by Joanna Van Veen. This is like a true thriller horror historical book, and I got it because it was in the historical fiction section. The quote, it literally says, "I'm in your blood and you are in mine." So apparently her twin sister is mumbling nonsensically, and apparently she's like turning into a vampire. I don't know, but she's like uncovering all of these, I guess, things that are going on. It seems very creepy, and I don't know if that's necessarily my personal vibe, but I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try this out and see if like this kind of thrillery horror book is for me. If not, I will unhaul it and that'll be okay, but at least I tried something new. And that's what I want to do. So I do have I have 3 fantasy romances. The first one is Alchemized by Sun Lin Yu. You guys know it comes out at the end of September. I will be reading this. I am very, very excited for this book. I know it's going to destroy me. I want to be in the right headspace when I read it. I want to be in the right mood for it. Like, whenever the mood strikes is when I am going to read this. I mean, of course, it might be the day that it's released, but I definitely want to read it. Another fantasy romance is Her Soul for a Crown by Alicia Ramira. I got this arc from the publisher, but the audiobook I have on hold, and I'm about 3 weeks away from that. So this is not necessarily like gothic or anything like that, but I do love to read some fantasy romances in fall anyway. So this is definitely one high on the top of my TBR. And the next one is The Jasad Heir. I have heard so many good things about this duology, and when the ebook was only like $1.99 or something like that on Amazon, I bought it, so I have it on my Kindle. I do want to see if I can get the audiobook so I can tandem read, but I figured spending $2 on the ebook to see if I like it is well worth it, and if I do love it, then I can get the paperbacks of them. But I've heard really, really good things about this fantasy. I don't necessarily think it's a fantasy romance, but I'm totally fine with that. I do love a good fantasy with like kind of a romance subplot, so I'm definitely willing to give it a try. Once again, I'm expanding my fantasy authors and fantasy reading. So now we're going to get into some book recommendations. I don't have that many because I haven't read that many, and the ones I have read I've already talked about, but I did want to mention very quickly is the Dream Harbor series by Lori Gilmore. If you have not picked up these books, you definitely need to. The first one is The Pumpkin Spice Cafe, which obviously perfect for the fall. The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore is one of my favorites. I loved this one. And then for Christmas, not necessarily fall, if you want to read Christmas books around fall, that's totally fine. The Christmas Tree Country Farm is also cute. So these are just super small town, super cozy, super cute. I actually do really enjoy these, so I wanted to mention them. I did just recently read a really cute, cozy romance that I wanted to mention, and it is If It Makes You Happy by Julie Olivia. So if you are someone who loves Gilmore Girls, which I watched Gilmore Girls when I was younger, but I wasn't like a massive fan, if that makes sense. But when I read this book, it gave me nostalgia. It's set in 1997. It is about a baker. It is about who is our hero, also an innkeeper who is our female character. You see that her mom passes away, so she comes to this super small town to run the bed and breakfast, I should say. And I just love their romance. It is so cute. He's like a single dad. They're both divorced, so they've both been in relationships previously, and I just had the best time with this. It literally made me so nostalgic because I grew up in the late 90s, so a lot of that stuff is super cute. Okay, so now the next couple ones I have to talk about are more like dark academia, dark-ish. So the first one is In the Veins of the Drowning. I want to mention this one because I think a lot of people would like it. I went into this book thinking that it's more fantasy romance, and this is just more like dark whimsical. It's about a siren. She's like a mermaid. She's trying to figure out she's been like hidden away for most of her life, and a lot of things happen in this book, and I liked it. The vibes were very much there, but I know a lot of people who really, really loved it that gave it 5 stars. So I wanted to mention it just in case if you are someone who doesn't care about having the biggest lore in or world building in your kind of more whimsical fantasy. Now this is just like she goes from one kingdom to another. There's things are happening. She's trying to uncover who and what she is. She's trying to figure out this prophecy that has been said to her and all of this stuff like that. There's this king who is also trying to help her out, and that is kind of like the love interest that she has. So the vibes were really vibing with this book. I did enjoy the read. I listened to the audiobook and it was amazing. It's a little bit, like I said, on the darker side. It kind of reminds me like a dark Little Mermaid, but like very loosely, if that makes sense, only because she's a siren that I say that. So I did want to mention that one. I also want to mention Endless Anger by Savar Miller. This is definitely a dark academia book, and I want to mention this one because if you read her Promises and Pomegranate series, you would really, really like this one. I like the beginning of it. If they weren't in college, I feel like I would like it more. That's the reason why, like, it's not my favorite book, but the vibes of this were so good. Like, there's this, like, murder mystery going on. He's a morally gray character. She's trying to, like, be in college and learn all these things. And so, like, the vibes of this book are immaculate. The next dark academia book I want to mention is Nightshade by Autumn Woods. This one was also really interesting. It started off a little rocky because I didn't know where this book was going. Our female character, she shows up to this university. She is almost ran over by this, like, super rich car, this dude in this car. And you see that she's trying to figure out who basically murdered her parents, or like put a hit out on her parents, I will say. And she goes to this university, and one of the professor knows what's going on. The headmaster knows what's going on. She meets this guy, the one who almost runs her over, and he is literally the son of the person who's her number one suspect. So it's really messy. He plays rugby. He's super popular. Then there's all of these things that start happening in the university, and that's making her question everything. He kind of tries to help her and figure out what's going on. The mental health in this book was really good. That's why I really loved it. I love the mental health rep, specifically in our hero, because it talks about him being the oldest child, having to take care of a mom who's mentally unstable, having to worry about his sisters who are younger than him, all while not necessarily living at home. So he talks to a therapist quite often, and it's like a big part of the story. It does end on a cliffhanger. Is I think part of a duology. I don't know when book 2 is coming out, but just know it ends on a cliffhanger. But I really did enjoy this one. The last book I have to talk about is Dear Reader by Tate James. Okay, so this is a trilogy, but this is a first book in a trilogy. It's Dear Reader, Watch Your Back, and You're Next, I think, is the third book. The third book comes out on September 16th. I'm pre-filming a little bit, so I think this book is already out by then. I have read the first book, and I have book 2 downloaded because book 1, the cliffhanger was so rough, I needed a second. But I want to listen to book 2 and 3 back to back because I heard the cliffhanger for book 2 is even worse than book 1. And I'm like, I don't know how that's possible, but I guess it is. Basically, this is a dark academia kind of like why choose romance. I say that loosely because in the first book, she doesn't have a romance with all of them at the same time. She's like getting to know the guys. They all have their own different personalities and like things that they do, but they've all been friends. It's basically her stepbrother and his friends, his other 3 friends. So I liked the enemies to lovers aspect with her stepbrother. I liked kind of this like budding romance that she has with Heath, who is like this super cute, like he has a crush on her, she has a crush on him type thing. We have this, I think he's like English, but he's like a playboy basically. And then there's another character that we don't get to know a lot of in book 1, but I'm okay. Like getting to know the other 3 was enough in book 1, so I'm really excited for book 2. But apparently there's this like secret society that they're kind of all in, and something fishy is happening within that secret society, and someone wants her to join and is like pushing her to do all the rituals and stuff like that, but she's like, she thinks it's her stepbrother. He's like, it's not me. So there's this like mystery going on, and I think that's perfect for fall. Like I read the first book and I was like, this puts me directly in the mood to read some more books exactly like this. So like I said, my fall TBR and my fall Rex are a little different than some other people's. I read more on the darker side rather than the cozy side, but you could let me know if you have any cozy romances for me in the comments down below. I would love to know. If you've made it this far and you want to let me know, leave me a rose emoji in the comments down below. I feel like that's very dark and mysterious. But thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe for more content from me. As always, I hope you're living a novel life, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys.